Before you watch this video, please make sure you subscribe, like the video, and press the notification button so that you do not miss another video from this channel.
Hello, Sanibonani, beautiful people. Sanibonani, how are you doing? How is your day doing? I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope all our engineer graduates, because as a country we do have a large budget to be bringing people to come and help us. But I am not the only South African in the world. So that's why this has to be our topic. We need to talk about it because I need you guys to correct me where I am wrong. Because with so many things that are priorities in our country, it is a lot of money. And with so many things where we have to spend millions on skills from other people, but we are not prepared to pay our own professionals. I feel like at this rate, our value at my university, let us shut down all South African universities because they do not produce people who are qualified to work in South Africa. So how do you expect them to be recognized by the world when South Africa looks into the world when they are in need for AMA skills? I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding. So I will be putting the, I'll put the link so that you guys can join me and maybe help me to understand better. I am not an engineer, so I do not understand, but yeah. I don't think South Africa has a problem with water. We just have a problem with corruption. People who are supposed to have done these jobs many years ago, they have chowed the money because I don't think this is something impossible. South Africa was able to do it where they wanted to do it. I don't know though. That's what I'm saying. I do not know. And maybe to me, these 60 million rands is too much money. Maybe to some people, they'll be able to explain that, no, actually, this is not a lot of money. They deserve it because apparently these not doctors, these engineers are going to be getting around 2.5 million per year per engineer. So I don't know. I feel like as a country, we keep undermining our own graduates. So it makes me wonder, what do we tell our children when they say they want to stay and not go to university? What do we tell them? Like, how do you encourage your child to go to university if the same country they live in doesn't believe in the skills? I don't know, guys. I'm too shocked. I feel like we are being played here. I feel like there were some contractual obligations that had other deals that we are not being told about. Because I know our people, I know our leaders. Yeah, South Africa is just a country that is so exhausting. Every time there's something they are doing, every time, like, they have money for other people, but they do not have money for their own. Like, yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm shocked. Like, how do you explain this to people? And then you say you don't have money for the basic needs. I'm not saying water is not a basic need. It's a basic need. Can we at least account for the millions that have been spent on these projects? Because you cannot tell me that there's not been money allocated for such projects in the 26 years of democracy. You cannot tell me. I don't know. But we are being played. Someone's asking what it is that they are here to do. No. This one. Oh, this one is a story. I'm going to tell you this story, guys. I think I'll leave it for the end. But basically, actually, let me read it so that I do not feed you guys poison. I will read so that I read the facts and I do not feed you poison. Yeah. From doctors to engineers, guys. I think at this rate, they might as well get taxpayers from Cuba, because it looks like South Africans, all we are fit to do is be taxpayers. Why not get Cuban taxpayers to come and be taxpayers? And then you wonder why your own graduates are undermined when they go to other countries and they are employed as cleaners, because even you at home do not believe in your own education system. Why don't we have Cuban politicians? We would love to have that. As the people of South Africa, we would love to have Cuban politicians. Why don't we swap that and have politicians unemployed so that we can have Cuban? They've run their country very nicely. The last time I went to Cuba, I couldn't drink tap water because I had to buy water just to drink. And I know in South Africa, tap water is drinkable. So I do not know. Maybe we're also going to end up having to buy water to drink because I don't know. But I'm just disappointed. I'm not against anybody coming to any country to look for work. I'm not against a country going to other countries to get skills, but at the rate South Africa is doing it. I'm also, I live in a country where I wasn't born. I work in a country where I wasn't born. I've worked in many countries where I wasn't born. Obviously, I couldn't have been born in many countries. Yeah. So I'm not against exchange of skills, exchange of expertise, but the money that's being spent and the skills, and like I know personally so many engineers that either do not have work or end up having either to leave. Some of them are here in England doing jobs where you're like, it's so sad that you are an engineer. Like, what was the point of going to university and paying so much money in South Africa only for you to not even get a job in your country? But your country has jobs for engineers. Your country has so much money for projects. Maybe we should also not just be told every time how many people from this country they're bringing, who's getting the tender, who's bringing them, like what happened, and what profits are they making? Because even with the doctors, a lot of people didn't even know how much as a country we were paying. People thought, oh, it was voluntary when we were paying $400 million to bring. Guys, whew. It says Cuban engineers to transfer water sanitation skills that South African engineers do not have. That is what Minister Thenjiwe Sisulu said. The engineers from Cuba are in South Africa to transfer water and sanitation skills that South African engineers do not have. After 26 years of democracy, you didn't think that your engineers should be taught that? Why didn't you take the money? How many bursaries would have been paid out of that money to send your own graduates to go and study that thing in Cuba, if it's so necessary that we get the skills from Cuba? Why didn't you give out bursaries for people to go and study abroad and come back with the skills to South Africa? Why are you not teaching your own people to fish? Why are you going to get fishermen from other countries? If yeah, guys. But in other news, it's good to see that when they wanted to go, South African Airways can go, because the last time we checked, it was grounded and they were still trying to revive it. The last time I checked, we couldn't even bring our own COVID-19 medication. The vaccines were brought in by Emirates Airline. So this must be a priority more than our lives. Okay, let me continue reading for you, my beautiful people. South Africa has imported 24 Cuban engineers to transfer skills and knowledge around water and sanitation. According to Water and Sanitation, let me remove the pic. According to Water and Sanitation Minister Thenjiwe Sisulu, this was because Cuban engineers possessed certain specialties that South African engineers do not have. The minister added the Cuban engineers have overcome challenges, have the experience, and know how to do it better. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Water is a ticking time bomb for this country. You come at a time when we sorely need you. You come at a time when we would like to give our people hope. During her address, Sisulu added, the Cuban engineers had specialties in areas that South African engineers did not have. They keep repeating the same thing, that South African engineers do not have these specialties. So obviously our doctors are not good enough, and they brought doctors from Cuba, and instead of getting better, we ended up being top of the charts when it comes to COVID numbers. We ended up having our own variant, our own strain. At the moment, we can't even go to other countries. We have to quarantine because we have a strain that is specifically ours as South Africans. So I don't know, maybe they did help, maybe. Yeah. While Sisulu did not expand on what those specialties were, she did mention several areas where the Cuban engineers will be helping. She added, we want you, in terms of our cooperation, to help us with management of water resources as well as water supply systems. Management of water resources, stop giving tenders to your friends who go and throw water away instead of giving it to the communities that need it. We want you to assist us in the assessment and evaluation of design and research and security of hydraulic infrastructure. We agreed to cooperate in the areas of strategic planning, overall water resources, groundwater surface, water and seawater. Like, this thing doesn't, maybe my English, like, yeah. We also agreed on the technical exchange of programs so that we can accelerate service delivery. Like, why you, like, stop chowing the money, stop being corrupt. You don't need Cubans to come and help you to be able, for service delivery, you're going to bring Cuban engineers to help you with service delivery. Stop chowing the money. When probed during a question and answer session with the media, Sisulu said South Africans could do the same work, but that South Africans needed to be employed. She said they would be employed when several projects opened. So, Tina, we are just Otakaboy. They'll be opened, they'll be employed to come and dig the holes for the engineers to put their pipes. These ones, Cuban engineers, are here for a particular purpose, to ensure that they can support us as we create our own core of people and engineers and train our engineers to look after our infrastructure. Like, to train our engineers to look after our infrastructure. The minister also centered her response around the fact that the Cuban engineers would be working in rural areas for a stipend over the next 3 years. I would love to have a stipend of 2.5 million. If there had been a group of engineers who said they would live on a stipend and in the rural area, we would have taken that offer. However, Sisulu maintained the Cuban engineers have the experience to solve the issues and know how to do it better. She said that Cuban engineers had not been employed by South Africa to work, but would be living on a stipend while mentoring and transferring skills. The Cubans have a partnership with us that is based on fraternal relations as opposed to contractual and financial relations, but they come to South Africa and earn at least 100 times more than they earn in their own country. I give you homework, all of you are watching this, go and Google how much Cuban doctors earn in Cuba. And then Google the stipend that they get in South Africa and see if it makes sense to you. Just Google. Someone please Google and come and write it here, because you guys are going to think I'm lying. How much Cuban doctors earn in Cuba and how much they were paid in South Africa, or they are paid in South Africa. Stipend, my feet. What we are going to be paying the Cuban compatriots who are coming here is a stipend. The Cubans are here for a short period of time to exchange their skills. They are here for the skill transfer period. And thereafter they go back home. Sisulu said they had acquired skills, worked out in the most challenging conditions, and that South Africa had taken advantage of this and asked for help. Okay. The budget for the Cuban Engineer project for the current financial year, this is the current financial year, not the whole project, the current financial year, is 64,652,000. So 64 million, almost 65 million. It's closer to 65 than it is to 64. Yeah. When Minister Sisulu was asked to break down what the money was going to do, she refused to comment. When she was asked what the 64 million is going to do, she refused to comment. It's like, guys, it's so painful being South African. It's a full-time job. It's hard. I've just put the link. Please do come and join me. I cannot be here suffering alone. Whew. Yep. Like, why do we still have universities? Why can't we just get rid of our universities? When are we, like, bring us Cuban teachers, bring us Cuban taxpayers, please. Are we only good enough to just pay tax? I think there's no country in the world as short-sighted as South Africa. Shutting down of colleges and apprenticeship. Thank you so much. I say this all the time. Whew. I say this all the time. Like, I remember when we had colleges, everyone could afford higher education. And we had teachers who went to colleges to study to be teachers, who wanted to be teachers. But right now, with people who are not getting other jobs, so, okay, I'll just go to teaching. And that's why there's a lack of morale. And I don't even blame them. I don't blame them. Cuba, they have same problem yamanzi as us, but kuthiwa kulandwa abantu while sinabo engineers. Yo guys, our water problems are less than theirs. At least the areas that have water, we can drink water from our taps. At least our water is drinkable. Imagine if South Africa had undrinkable water from the tap. How many people would be able to afford to buy a bottle of water? It's expensive. It's not cheap to buy water. People are struggling to buy bread. Yeah, guys, it's a problem. It's not nice being South African. Last year, they brought doctors. Where did they end up? I asked myself, those engineers who were working at Rainwaters, didn't they have the Cuban? Whew. Yeah, so hard to be. We are in an abusive relationship as South Africans. How much did we pay for engineers that messed up the designs for Medupi and Kusile? Yo, hi. Yeah. If we gave the project to the right people, not to our friends, project would be done, project would be finished, and people would still be rich. They would still chow the money. They would still have money. It's so sad when, as a South African, you even have to compare how things used to happen during apartheid compared to now. It's so sad. We shouldn't even be comparing those two. We shouldn't be thinking like that. South African Black leaders are mentally exhausting. They need deliverance from spirits of greed. There is no way that there is non-skilled engineers in South Africa. Give bursaries, send students to go and study. Why didn't you think of it and hire lecturers from other countries if you thought that there was a lack of skill? And it's not like South Africa has never had water. They did, when people were still giving projects, doing the projects, and then chowing the money. Not when they are buying the Land Rover before they pay for the land. Another pot of gold for those. Eish. Yeah. Whew. And can you imagine how you bring people to transfer skills? What about the language barrier, guys? How are you going to transfer skills to me in a language I don't understand? We ended up with our own variant because they brought us doctors who didn't understand our lifestyle. Those doctors were confused, thinking some of the COVID signs were losing hair because they're not used to us taking off our wigs. They'd be like, oh my God, South Africans, they have their own special variant. Even their hair is falling off because they're not used to that. They were confused by Kismadolo. They thought it was a sign of COVID. This is very sad. Our kids have master's engineering but can't be employed. Let's close down our university. Exactly. That's where I am. Why do we still have universities? Why do we still have universities? Do we need universities? I don't think so. What's the point of having universities? What's the point? What's the point? I mean, I'm tired, guys. It's a full-time job being a stressed South African, not just being a South African. Being a stressed South African is a full-time job. It's like every day they think, how do we make them lose more weight? What do we do to stress them more? Like, we deserve better. We deserve better. In hospitals, we have people lying down on the floor. We have... so many problems we have in our country. And you guys, yeah, it's stressing. It is stressing. It is stressful. The sad thing about drilling boreholes in the location, you must pay certain money every month to the municipality, which is sad because these are areas where there's no employment. And now that's part of their plan to get people in the rural areas to pay municipality rates. And the minute your grandmother in the village cannot pay for municipal rates, then their house will be repossessed, your ancestral house that your family has lived in for years and years and years, history immemorial, and then it's going to be repossessed just because your gogo cannot afford to pay 60 rand every month because now the land has government taking care of it. And they're already talking about that. They want to be able to have access. Guys, how does a teacher not find a job? How does a teacher not find a job for 2 years? That's something that never used to happen. And we know we need teachers in our schools. And we know now that our government has a lot of money. US government employees didn't even get increment, but such amount to pay those people, but they have too much money. Oh, they have too much money. Our government says they will be doing the project for free. Thina sifundile but sifuna ukuqashwa uthi yena akanayo imali yokusiholela. Yep. Yeah. Guys, it is sad. Yeah. 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 Yep. If you studied in South Africa, please consider yourself not an academic because you are not good enough for your own government. No wonder South Africa, yeah, guys, we are in pain. How, as a parent, how do you sit with your child and convince them to go and study engineering? How do you? Especially these days when your child is looking at the graduates next door, unemployed. If they are employed, either working maybe in supermarkets, and looking at people who proudly dropped out of high school, even in most cases, or looking at people who spend most of their time in a prison, driving the best cars, living in the best suburban areas, having the biggest tenders, making money. Like why do we go to school? It's not for the certificate. Certificate is never going to feed you. It's not for the graduation gown. That's not going to put food in your fridge. It's to make money. So, like, give me a reason to tell my child that they need to go and study. Please, someone give me a reason. Maybe the governing party is paying back for the help. I can agree with that. But they would just be open about it. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I feel like I'm always coming here and I always have something to moan about. It's just, they brought here for water sanitation and they're the best. And went over to yeah, yes, guys. If you're a South African engineer, forget it. You is not good enough. Go look for a cleaning job. You'll be cleaning the Cuban engineers' houses. You is not good enough. Look at your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, you are not good enough. Look at your neighbor and tell them, neighbor, you are not good enough. You are not good enough. Yep, you are not good enough. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, guys. ANC government has been doing this for ages, employing foreigners, importing them to run departments who then bring their relatives to South Africa. South African being sidelined. Ask yourself why they call South Africans uneducated. It's because that's what they are told when they are given these high positions. I agree. It's sad, guys. It's sad. It's sad. My son is in private school doing matric next year, and he said he's not going to university. We're seeing a lot of children are saying they don't want to go to university, and you ask them, they say Uncle so and so is an engineer, he's not working. And they're telling us some of these engineers started working in the 80s. Like, these are their friends, their age mates. Like, something is between the water. Oh, nokushaya amanzi. Yeah. I love Cuba. Yeah. Yeah. I love Cuba, but one of the things that I was told when I went to visit Cuba was do not drink water from the tap unless you want to spend the rest of your stay here going up and down the toilet with diarrhea. But suddenly they are highly skilled. Yeah. Whew. Guys, our country is definitely exhausting. I do agree. My learners whom I taught during the teaching practice are laughing at me queuing. Listen, guys, our engineers are queuing for 350. Our engineers, ANC is finished, but they must finish the country. If they're finishing, why should they finish the country, guys? Can't they just finish, accept defeats and move on? They've chowed enough money. Yeah. Whew. Guys, what do we do as South Africans? What do we do? What do we do, guys? Someone tell me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just Googling something. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's who we are as a country. I stopped voting the ANC in 2009 and voted COPE. And what happened to COPE? What happened to cope? They didn't cope. I never felt like in my life, I never felt I would ever say the things I'm saying about the ANC. Remember, the first time I could vote, I was so excited. I was always advocating. But right now, guys, I'm disappointed. Leadership. Whew. Our leadership is really undermining us. Our South African leadership is really undermining us. Like, guys, whew. Yeah, that's our country. Yeah, I think what we should do is just have our engineers, those in employment or not in employment, just send them to the minister. Because I even know engineers who are in employment, but they are earning peanuts. For you to tell us that a stipend is 2.5 million per person, when you're not even paying 25,000 rands a month to some of your own engineers. Engineers like March, go. We should send a list of all the qualified engineers and get the money to be spent on them. Like, what's the point? Why not valani ikole? Kanti sifundelani if how good they are while in their country, some of times they don't even get clean. Not some. You can't drink tap water. And some they get water just for 2 hours per day. Yes. Also, they have water shedding. They have water shedding. They have, oh my goodness. It doesn't matter what happened to cope. What matters is I didn't contribute to the current nonsense with my vote. I really hope they had a good competition, guys. But they're going to fool us. Come elections, they're going to fool us, put someone that's going to give you hope, and then, boom, again. Yeah, we are really being undermined. Like, parents, they give up so much to take their children to school, to take their children to universities. Black parents work hard, and then for a child to be told there are no jobs. I hope these are not things we're just gonna talk about online, and I hope something's gonna be done. I hope we can have a petition. I hope we can stop some of these things, even if we stop the future things they're gonna do. Because for me, this is just another way for them to chow the money. Yeah. We don't know. Maybe they're coming with Noah's Ark and they're going to bring us rain. And we're never going to run out of water ever again in South Africa. I hope that what they are bringing us. Anyway, we can't be talking about these things that mess us up. Can we give a round of applause to this graduate who was not getting a job? In Gauteng, police are looking for a man who hacked into the Department of Health database and employed himself as a system administrator since June 2018. Bright Chabota, a computer engineering graduate of Zambian origin, his father is Zambian and his mother is South African. He never actually went to work, but he was getting the salary every month. Medical card and salary advice were piling up in an office of the supposed system administrator in the Department of Health building in Pretoria, but nobody had ever seen him. His parents were tracked down in Alexandra, and they said he told them that he got a job in Nelspruit. He had been sending 7,000 rands every month to his parents since June last year. He was tired. He was like, me, I'm an engineer. Me, I know how to hack the system. He employed himself, got himself paid by the government every month. And you know where South Africa is going? Exactly there. I always say that I know people say a lot about our fellow brothers from Nigeria, about being hackers and Yahoo boys and all these things. Those require someone who's very smart. Even to make Iziyobisi, you have to be very smart. The reason we end up with such people in our community is because if you take someone and you teach them information technology and then you don't give them a job, they know how to get into a system. You take me, you teach me how to make medicine and how to make tablets, and then you don't give me a job. I know how to make medication. I'm going to make medication that I can sell on the street. I'm not going to sit and not be employed for 25 years just because now you are telling me after I graduate and you are busy sending me letters that I owe for student loans, and I have my mother who sold everything they had and worked hard for me. I can't even buy bread. Do you know, as a graduate, to go back to your mother at the age of 45 and be asking for bread? That's why people end up finding other means to use their skills. And then you get shocked. You can't have a country with over-education and underemployment. You cannot have that. South Africa has an extensive exchange program with Cuba, but it's mostly medicine. As for engineering, we have plenty for here, importing skills for what and who. But the problem, with medicine, yes, we have our students who go there, and there's a lot of money involved as well. People do not understand. They think it's just a free, South Africans getting free education. Anyway, where were they when we needed them? Why didn't they take those students that have been going to Cuba for years and said, okay, we've got our own students that have been trained in Cuba. Let them come and lead medical teams in South Africa. Where were they? Then what's the point of even taking our children to go and educate them in Cuba if when they come back, you still don't believe in them? What's the point? I want that guy. Yes, I want that guy. Now I want to be a Cuban engineer or a Cuban doctor and just get paid. Get paid. This must change. There's a conversation that we are avoiding as South Africans, packing up of investors from South Africa to Ghana. I'm actually missing out on a trip. I was supposed to go to Ghana early May. I had an opportunity to go to Ghana, but because of what's happening, it's just too complicated to travel at the moment. So I'm sad because I was really looking forward to it, but I've had to decline the opportunity. But yes, you are right. People are moving to Ghana. Black Americans in particular, like African Americans, are moving to Ghana, and Ghana is being very kind to them, even giving land to them to come and resettle in Ghana. And Tina, we are doing what we are doing. I hope it can be halted. I hope our people will not be quiet about this one. Even that chair you're sitting on has already been sold without you knowing. I do agree. Yeah, guys, we need to do something. We need to be able to teach our children skills, because clearly academic education is not going to help them. That's the problem with most academic qualifications. You still rely on someone to employ you. You still rely on the government to employ you. So let us educate our children to be skilled, to be able to do things for themselves and not wait for someone to employ them. Because otherwise, it's sinking in. But guys, that's it for me for tonight. We shall chat tomorrow. Please don't forget to check out my other channel, Thenjiwe Unplugged. I did upload a video today, which you guys might find useful and helpful. It's about different streams of income that I currently have. So you might find it very useful. Please do go and check it out. It's on my other channel, Thenjiwe Unplugged. And let's support each other. Support me, please. Support me, please. And I wish they would have. I wish they would allow us to interview those doctors and those engineers, like as I'm a journalist, as a South Africa, as the public of South Africa, to ask them the questions that we have. But they never allow that because they know none language barrier. What skills are you going to transfer? Imagine taking me to go and transfer skills in Vietnam with a language, unless I'm going to Vietnam to people who want skills of the language that I speak that they want to learn. Yeah, I do agree. And also support us on YouTube. Like, guys, please subscribe. Subscribe to the Real Counties tutorials. Subscribe to Thenjiwe TV, Thenjiwe Unplugged, Thenjiwe Comedy. Please subscribe. And also, I've got a new video that I put up on Thenjiwe Comedy today, Meet the Kambules. Please do go and check that one out. I love you guys, and I wish you all the best. And let us keep praying for our country. I don't think there's anything else that we can do. I'm asking Sister Thenjiwe, invite Vuyo Zongo. Please connect me. Please connect me. I would love to do that. Please do connect me. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. I'm gonna end up ninga valelisi, ninga hambi. Thank you. Good night.